Yeah, but you have a lot of people for this one.
What is camera still on me?
Yes.
It's a show about you and sports.
Cut. He said cut. Well, welcome to another episode of Health is Wealth. Today I'm at the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground where I'm doing the subject of track and field. Stay tuned. Well, I have with me here Mr. Steve Augustine. He's president of the Beaver Athletics Association, but here in this capacity today, he's coach of the Top Notch Track Club.
That's correct.
Thank you for having us and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, well today, I'm going to be part of this track workout you have planned for us. But first, before we get into that, I want to, for the people that will be viewing, to get an insight of who is Steve Augustine and how you got into track and field.
Well, you already mentioned that I sit as president of the Beaver Athletics Association. I also volunteer as a coach on Top Notch Track Club. Track and field is something that I've done ever since I've known myself. It's where my heart is at, and I do it for the love. Whether or not we had 100 kids or one kid, I would still be here. Track and field is something that was introduced to me in primary school with Mr. Dak Samuels, our late chief coach. So I did, physical education. We had fun, Captain Grip Primary School. Later on in high school, I came across Ms. Burnett and Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter is the head coach of Top Notch Track Club, so he's still around, so I walk with him. It was a high school track team. There wasn't too many clubs at that time. And, they introduced me to other events, specializing in certain events. Later on, I started to train with a fellow by the name of Mr. Linford Levy, who was introduced to me by the now Dr. Brian Penn, who was also one of my physical education teachers. But nonetheless, we did the events, the hurdles, the races, and I got a fair chance to see the entire world through track and field. And I also was able to get an athletic scholarship through track and field. So the fact that someone provided me with that opportunity, I feel obligated deep down inside to do the very same thing for our kids. We've had successes over the years, not just Top Notch Track Club, all the track clubs, Sprint Tech Track Club, Talent X Track Club. I'm going to get myself in trouble for calling names. Fast Lane Track Club, we have quite a few. But our kids have continued to benefit, and that's why we do it. We love the sport, and we're simply trying to provide a future for our kids and our athletes. And that's why we're here where we're at today, on the track, training the kids to ensure that by the time the season by the time we get to the heart of the season, they're ready to go, they're ready to compete. You, as a sports analyst yourself, alongside the general public, would know that the Carifta Games is something that we look forward to on a yearly basis. So we don't just wake up overnight and go to the Carifta Games. There's a lot of preparation that goes into getting ready for the Carifta Games, and that is what we're here doing today.
Okay, so speak about also too, as you know, my show is Health is Wealth. I want you to speak about how track and field coincides with that healthy lifestyle.
Well, I think the two go seamlessly or walk seamlessly together. You're talking about healthy lifestyles, you're talking about, maintaining proper body weight, keeping the cholesterol low, eating right, sleeping right. It goes a lot further than just a track alone. And so when you start to talk about healthy lifestyles, track and field athletics fits right into that agenda or under that umbrella, because staying physically fit and getting stronger is what we do here at the Beaver Athletics Association, and more so right here with Top Notch Track Club.
And in terms of that fitness lifestyle, that athletic lifestyle in the territory, speak about that. How have you been seeing that over the years developing? As you do know, we have a common problem with obesity, with non-communicable diseases, especially being prevalent amongst the Beaver society. Stress the need, or more so why track and field and this active lifestyle is needed in the territory at this point.
Well, the one good thing, if you look around on the track today, I haven't counted the numbers, but it's easy to see we've got a lot of kids out here. And I think that is good. Track and field, I've always said, it's a sport that's continued to mushroom. The kids are naturally gravitate towards track and field. And once they come, whether they're, some come very fit, very lean and ready to run, and some don't necessarily come like that. And what we do, we work with the kids. We don't turn kids back on the track. If you want to join a club, there's a club out there that you'll fit in. Not everyone will be a 100-meter runner, a sprinter. There are the throwing events, there are the jumping events. So we diversify things a little bit. But the first thing we do, no matter your size, your height, or your weight, is that we work on getting you fitter, stronger, and faster. So when you speak about, the health of our kids, the health of our youths, athletics definitely contribute to creating a healthier BVI.
Okay, great. Well, you would have gotten an insight as it pertains to how Mr. Augustine would have got into track and field, how track and field relates and complements that of a healthy lifestyle. Now we want to speak a little bit about attire and equipment that is needed to partake in track and field. So, Mr. Augustine, attire and equipment. I want you to speak about what attire is usually needed for track and field and some of the equipment you would use from time to time when it comes to training these athletes.
Well, typically we tell the kids come wearing, a shorts or long tights and a shirt, something loose, not too heavy. A t-shirt normally works well. You're wearing a wet and dry shirt, that works well. Or a shirt similar to what I'm wearing, that works well. But generally, you don't want anything that's going to restrict your movement during physical activity. So, running in a khaki pants would not be recommended if you get what I'm trying to get at. But a short pants, a shirt, running shoes, not basketball shoes, not casually wearing shoes, but running shoes. And if you go to the store, there's a difference between what you call running, training, and just casual shoes that you would buy. So we typically encourage the kids to get the running shoes. The brand doesn't matter, but of course the BV Athletics Association is sponsored by Puma. So we naturally gravitate towards that brand for obvious reasons, but nothing against any of the other brands. Aside from that, we encourage the kids to bring, of course, a bottle of water, because you're going to be exerting yourself once you're on the track. And then once they're here, we have the low hurdles. We work on agility, flexibility, and mobility with the hurdles. We have the wickets where we work on your speed and coordination. We do a lot of plyometrics, and that's just using your own body weight, but that's self-balance and things like that. The high jump, the long jump, we have the high jump bed. Of course, we have the long jump pit. And we use a lot of different implements, primarily for muscle building and coordination, just to make sure that we get that right. And we typically do that during the preseason, when we're doing the endurance runs and things like that, the condition work. Not so much when we get into the actual season, because by then you're not practicing to jump, you're physically jumping. So we would actually have the kids out there physically jumping in the long jump or physically throwing the discus or the shot. But in the preseason, we would just work the entire body from head to toe and everything in between, just to develop that general body strength.
Okay, great, excellent content. It's now all about that segment you all been waiting for. The workout segment where you, the viewers, decide whether I aced it or whether I failed it. Over to you, Mr. Augustine. It's much harder than it looks, and it takes a lot of fitness. So, moment of the truth, if you want to be a serious track and field athlete, you have to train extremely hard.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
imagine one day.
Let's go, guys. On the line. On the line. Let's go. Let's go.
Everybody else.
On your marks.
Come back.
That's it for me, guys. It's much harder than it looks, and it takes a lot of fitness. So, moment of the truth, if you want to be a serious track and field athlete, you have to train extremely hard, have a lot of stamina, a lot of endurance, and a lot of determination as well. All of which I don't have at this present moment. Cut. Another one hurts. I need some water. No, seriously, me though, for real. My hamstring's hurting. Oh.
Yeah, but you have lots of below for this one.
What is camera still on me?
Yes.
It's a show about you and sports.
Cut.
He said cut.
Okay, coach, you would have seen me participate in a quarter of that overall workout. I know there were 4 sets that were supposed to be done, but I obviously only managed one due to my fitness level.
Yes.
What is your take as it pertains to what you would have seen just now?
Well, you know, given my assessment of what I saw with you running, I mean, it's clear. I told you before you came, it's going to be a tough one. Yeah. Today, what we were doing is walking on what we call our lactic threshold, and that's going to, you know, burn the legs, to put it in layman terms, and that's what it's about. We want to continue to increase that threshold so that when we're in competition and we're really pushing our body to the limit, we don't break down. So we get the body used to what it feels like to pushing the body to the limit. So today we did a 300 run, which is 3/4 of the track. We rested for 25 seconds and then we ran 100. That's tough. That's really tough, especially for someone like you that wouldn't have had the preseason walkout like these kids had. But essentially, we start the week when the legs are fresh, we do sprints. So you came on Thursday. Maybe Monday would have been a better day for you because it would have been a little bit shorter. But essentially what we're doing is simply getting the kids ready for competition. So we walk on speed only during the week when the legs are fresh, and then we walk on, you know, endurance or speed endurance later on during the week. Today being Thursday, you definitely got yourself caught up in the walking on lactate tolerance, and that's why we did the walkout that we did. The kids has four 400 breakdowns. I think you did one. You're more than welcome to come back and jump in and do a second one if you want.
So based off that assessment, based off you knowing my fitness level, how would you rate me in terms of whether I totally failed it or whether I somewhat?
Well, you finished the first one. That's more than what I thought. I saw when you started really hard. That was probably not the best thing for you to do because I knew somewhere in between you would break down. I guess you were verifying what you were capable of doing based on the kids you were running with. But once again, those kids are very fit. I wouldn't dare jump in there with them. But I saw you started really hard. You started to break down after the first maybe 150 meters. And that was expected. We were here speaking about it as a matter of fact. But the fact is you came around and you finished the 300. And that takes a lot. It looks really easy when you're in the grandstand looking at the kids running or you're on the sidelines. But once you physically come to the track and you do it, it's really tough. But you know, my general assessment, I give you a pass. You completed one of the sets, so that's a pass mark in my books.
Okay, great. So you would have heard from Coach Augustine. He gave me a pass. How do you rate my performance? Well, we're here to the nutrition segment where we speak about nutrition. I know, Mr. Augustine, you're not a nutritionist expert, but obviously you, as a professional coach, you would have that expertise to best advise your athletes as it pertains to rejuvenating that body, utilizing certain whether it drinks, food, etc., to get by that energy that's needed. And as you can see from that workout I just had, I'm utilizing some H2O.
Right, you can't beat that.
Exactly. So speak about nutrition when it comes to track and field.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, what we typically do is encourage the kids to eat a balanced diet. So you want to get a little bit of, the fiber, the proteins, the carbohydrates, and everything else in between. We encourage them to eat a balanced diet. We're big on fruits. That's always a good snack. The sugars and the energy you get from that always works well. They can't necessarily work against you. You want to feed the body with food that's going to sustain energy over a long period of time. The sodas and the candies and things like that, it gives you a quick boost of energy, but it doesn't last. Those are the things we try to discourage the kids from eating. So the potatoes, the fish, the salmon, local fish, and things of that nature is typically the pasta. Those are things that we typically encourage the kids to eat. And try to have a balanced plate with foods of that type and everything else in between. It just doesn't work well with track and field. We're walking the body up, we're trying to stay fit, we're trying to stay lean, we're trying to stay conditioned. So the foods that counteracts what we're trying to do on the track is typically the type of foods that we encourage the kids. Just stay away from that. You're drinking water that works well. You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps.
And as you can see, it's actually
you're
impacting my body right now.
Right. So maybe some Gatorade or something of that type might help replenish the body to get it back where it was when you started. But generally speaking, we encourage the kids to come with the water. We encourage them to eat right. We've done seminars with the nutritionists. We've brought them in so that they can speak to the kids and give them a full understanding as to why we eat what we eat and the goodness that you can get from the different foods you eat.
And you spoke about fruits just now. What is a go-to fruit when it comes to track and field? For me, for example, in the gym, you would go to bananas for that potassium, etc., to provide that boost of energy.
Differs. So we do the very same thing here. The bananas, we go definitely for that, the potassium, the oranges, the apples. It's just having a balanced diet. We won't say eat this over that. I think if you eat a little bit of everything, as long as it doesn't come in a can, stay away from the fruits in the can. Get the real, hopefully naturally grown. If not, get the real fruits, not the one in the cans, and just consume those. And that typically works really well.
Okay, some very great advice. I hope you took that in for those persons who are interested in partaking in track and field. For those who are at home that want to get up and come on the Aero Shirley Recreation Ground and get in that little exercise as well, I hope you took that in as well. So what we're going to head to now is the great segment of facts and myths, where I get you, Mr. Augustine, to tell me whether a few statements I make, whether they're factual, whether they're myths, etc. But there's statements I would believe in your profession that you would have some knowledge of.
I hope I do.
Okay.
Orange alert! Fire is spreading across the BVI. The fastest, most reliable, and affordable fiber internet service is here for you. Look out for fire in these new locations: Slaney, Duff Bottom, Manual Reef, Seacows Bay, Albion, Hannah's, Palestina, Pleasant Valley, and Havers. Fiber is in your area. Call 444-4444 or visit a CCT store to find out more and bring it home. More locations coming soon.
So now we're on to the fun segment, facts and myths. Mr. Augustine, out of somewhat prepped you to the extent of just letting you know we're about to do it, but you don't know what is about to come.
I don't know the questions. I honestly don't.
Okay. So the first statement: track and field is one of the oldest sports in history.
It's one of the oldest?
One of the oldest.
I would figure so. Athletics is.
And obviously we would go back to the origin of Olympics and track and field playing a major role of that. Based off your history of track and field, let's speak about some of the early segments of track and field.
Well, I know that you're definitely questioning me here. I know that athletics has been around for a long time. Running was always something that people naturally gravitated towards. So, running the 100s and the 400. I think in those days there would have been yards and not meters. That was the distance that was used to measure the races. So I do recall the 100-yard run and the 400-yard runs. I knew that they threw I don't know if it would have been called discus or shot during that time, but there were implements that were thrown, and there definitely was some jumping that was done in the pit, both high and long.
Okay, so my second statement: regular physical activity helps prevent and treat non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and breast and colon cancer.
Exercising?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, and colon cancer.
Yeah, it just helps to non-communicable diseases. That is part of one, so it helps to combat those types of diseases as well.
From my understanding, yes, it does. Maintaining, good blood pressure, keeping the cholesterol low, things like that you get from physical activity. Yes, it does.
Okay. So that is also a fact. So distant athletes shouldn't train strength for fear of bulking up. Is that a fact?
Athletes shouldn't train?
Strength. As in be weight training, etc. because of fear of bulking up. Is that a fact or is that just a myth?
I don't know. I think distant athletes, they still go to the gym, they still lift. I think generally speaking, because of the event that they're physically doing, there's a certain body type that comes along with that.
Okay.
So if you're muscle bound, it's very unlikely that you're going to be a very good distance runner. You can look at the physique of those athletes and see that they're typically lean. So I don't think it's a matter of whether or not lifting weights is going to bulk you up. It's going to direct you to the path or the event that you want to do. So that's more a fiction than a fact.
Okay, that's a myth. So this one I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. The best placement by an athlete from the BVI is 4th at the Olympic Games by Kyron McMaster in the men's 400 meter relay.
That's definitely a fact.
Okay, speak about that and speak about that performance, because I recall, I believe you were present at the games at that time?
No, I wasn't at the games. I was home, like you, watching it on television. But Cameron was definitely there. He got 4th at the Olympics just about a year or so ago, if I recall right. Of course, you guys would have known that he would have contested World Championships. We had to pull him from that event. I was there. That was in Eugene, Oregon, and I've been speaking with him. I spoke to him just Saturday, last week Saturday, and he's back again. He's had a race or 2 under his belt. He's going to run again in another week or 2, and he's definitely looking forward to World Championships this year, where he's really hoping to secure that major world title at the World Championships. So I think this year, given all that he said to me over the past few weeks and months, I think things are going really well for him. I'm going to bust the bubble on it. He's had a change in his training and coaching regimen. He's not where he was before. He's moved to an alternate location with a new coach, and things are going really well. And I'm really hopeful that this year, the BVI is able to secure a World Championship outdoor medal, because you would have known that Tahisha Scott Harrigan secured a World Championship indoor medal in the 60 back in her days. So we're hopeful that we can get an outdoor medal this time around, and certainly going into the next Olympics. We still have Kyron, we have Chantel, we have Eldred, we have Recoy Brathwaite now pushing on the doors of doing something big and great. And we have some few youngsters, Jaleel Kroll, he's now at school in Florida, and he's also knocking the doors of doing something big and great. And of course, we have a local population here, our local athletes that are up and coming.
Okay, this other one, sprinters, throwers, and distant athletes should all train differently.
Sprinters, throwers, and distant athletes, that's true, that's a fact.
They should all train differently.
Right.
And let's move to this other one. The BVI is the first country or territory to field 2 sets of twins at the Commonwealth Games.
I haven't done the research on that, but I would want to believe that's probably true. But I haven't done the research on it. It sounds like it's true.
And we have at least 1 set of the twins here present here today.
Yes, we have 2 of them are here, as a matter of fact.
2 of them, yeah. Okay. And this final one. Usain Bolt became the first man ever to win 3 consecutive gold medals in the 100-meter race. And that will be Olympics.
At the Olympics?
Yeah.
I think that might be true. Okay. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so that is a fact.
Yeah.
So Mr. Augustine, I want to thank you so much, as this brings the end to another episode of Health is Wealth, the track and field edition. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing that wealth of knowledge with my viewing audience, as well as bringing me through, teaching me a lot as it pertains to some of the stuff I would have been partaking in as well. So thank you, and I really appreciate your time.
Well, we were glad to have you, and hopefully we can do this again.
Okay, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed all the content. Until next time, bye-bye.